for integrity capital for third-party vendors, and specifically we're going to talk about appraisers. So whenever you're involved in a transaction going through the process with us, and it's to the point where you're going to be converting to what we call the qualified lead or phase two, you're going to be dealing with the lender, and the lender is going to be dealing with all these what we call third-party vendors. So third-party vendors are there to support the work that, as it relates to real estate. Aside from the broker, the lender, there are several different parties that need to complete additional work. And so the first one is the MAI certified, made as instructed, or a member appraisal institute is what that stands for. It's a designation. And this party is paid whether the loan closes or not, but the appraiser really is to do due diligence on a property itself, its income streams, condition, location, past ownership, comparable sales data, cost, etc. And the appraiser's job is to really come to what they would deem non-biased third-party valuation. So what is this property worth for somebody who's buying this? And it's really to the benefit, obviously, of the bank. The institution typically is the one who will send it out to 2 or 3 parties for a blind bid, so that there's no bias towards who they're going to choose. And then they'll get the bids back, and then the client chooses which cost and time they want to use. And so an appraiser will return his report after, usually takes 3 to 4 weeks to turn an appraisal around. And they will offer 3 different approaches. So what they call a cost approach, an income approach, and a sales approach. So the cost approach is really simply put, what would it cost to take the land and build a vertical building on this location with all the costs that are associated with it in today's environment? What is that cost today? So that would be one approach that they focus on, and typically that's in almost every appraisal that's utilized. The second one is an income approach, where they would take all of the rents minus expenses to come up with a net operating income, divided by what they would deem a capitalization rate, which is just a rate that is utilized for the amount of risk that's in the area, the condition of the property, the tenant, etc. So the lower it is, the higher the valuation is, because they're going to take the net operating income divided by the cap rate. So as you can imagine, the lower the cap rate, so if it's 4 or 5, that valuation will be higher, versus if it's a higher capitalization rate, the valuation will be lower. So there's a negative correlation there, so to speak. And then the sales approach is just simply put, they are going out to the market to see what kind of properties have sold in the last 6 to 12 months in order to identify what that property is worth. So appraisals are used, and they are huge. It's a very big deal. That's why part of our process is understanding and getting comps in advance to be proactive, so that when the appraisal comes, we're not going to be ransacked or blindsided, but we already feel confident that the valuation is correct. That is a make or break type of deal. So it's important for you to understand who the appraiser is, how they function, and what we need to do to be prepared. We actually have a process whereby we go through a vetting process when we're the point of contact. Whenever the appraisal is engaged, they'll be communicating with us. So that is a little bit about an appraiser. You'll be using it a tremendous amount, and it is important you understand the general concept and utilization of that for working here.